Tonight on CTV News at 6. Forget earth, wind, and fire. We have ice, squalls, and snow.
We are seeing motorists that have chosen to drive on closed highways. So there are vehicles in the ditch at this time.
A winter storm is wreaking havoc across our region. Plus, a historic piece of Cochrane goes up in flames Christmas morning.
This building provided a significant place for our community to develop memories.
20 people have now been displaced with the loss of Anderson House. And mourning the loss of the last Dion quintuplet. Annette Dion died on Christmas Eve at the age of 91.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. We begin tonight with the weather, and what a mess these last 24 hours have been from one end of the region to another. There's been snow, ice, rain, freezing rain, squalls, visibility issues, you name it. This was the scene along Highway 64 heading westbound toward Highway 69. Between Noelville and Albin, the road was slippery and visibility was an issue, this around the noon hour, from blowing snow to just being unable to see the lanes. CTV's Lydia Chubak has more on the day that's been from Timmins.
A heavy snowfall overnight and into today has forced many people throughout the city of Timmins to work from home. With an accumulation of 40 to 60 centimeters of snow and wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour, the blizzard conditions have brought a variety of operations and services to a standstill. The city of Timmins did not have anyone available to speak on camera today, but offered a statement to CTV News. All municipal facilities, including City Hall, all arenas, and the Archie Dillon Sportsplex pool are closed. Timmins transit service is suspended for the remainder of the day, and garbage collection for Monday has also been cancelled. Officials say public works crews are currently digging the city out, but add delays are expected on some streets and roads. As such, the city asks residents to avoid parking on any roads and to postpone all non-essential travel. Many northern highways were closed, some deemed unsafe for travel, but that didn't stop some motorists.
We are seeing motorists that have chosen to drive on closed highways. And so there are vehicles in the ditch at this time. And if you are choosing to travel on a closed highway, you're putting yourself at risk. You're putting first responders at risk, and your vehicle will not be removed until it's safe to do so.
In an email to CTV News, Cochrane District Services Board says anyone experiencing health-related issues needs to know. Paramedics are doing their best to respond to emergency calls, but response times may be delayed, and some addresses may be inaccessible due to highway closures and heavy snow. If a person's situation is not life-threatening, please consider using virtual care options. Reps with some winter sports facilities love the abundance of snow. But today's storm has even forced the closure of Mount Jameson Resort and the chalet and ski rental room at Porcupine Ski Runners. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Let's check in with CTV's Rick Wyman, who's in the Weather Center. And Rick, those highways in some areas, not nice. What are we looking at in terms of the system?
Well, Ontario 511 earlier today issued a warning that the highway from North Bay to Nipigon was actually closed because of the weather wreaking havoc. You had mentioned earlier Highway 69 and, of course, some of the secondary roads in and around, Northeastern Ontario, Highway 17. Problematic, to say the least, because of gusting winds for today, and that's what we've got more in the offing for this evening. We've got some flurry activity and some blowing snow, and again, those colder temperatures. So again, it's not going to be a warm night, but conditions will improve. We've got proof. We'll take a look at the current conditions, and that wind chill is kind of nasty this evening. Then again, we'll get into the 7-day forecast, and things will start to get better by tomorrow. So Ian, it's been a rough day for a lot of people here in Northeastern Ontario, but things will improve. Back to you.
That's good news. Thanks, Rick. Well, as he alluded to, all of this wintry weather has led to a slew of northern highways being closed. Let's take a look at this map from Ontario 511, and some of the major routes still closed at this hour include Highway 11, Nipigon to North Bay, Highway 101, Wawa to the Quebec border, Highway 129, Thessalon to Chapleau, Highway 144, Timmins to Go Gamma, Highway 560, Go Gamma to Englehart. Well, in other news, Ontario Provincial Police say impaired driving charges are on the rise this holiday season, with more than 1,000 tickets issued already through the Festive Ride program. Since the campaign launch on November 20th, 1,148 impaired driving charges have been laid across the province and 128 suspensions. Officers will continue to be stationed at various locations until January 1st, stopping drivers to assess sobriety. Cochrane firefighters spent 8 hours of their Christmas Day battling a massive blaze that has destroyed a piece of the town's history. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
It's all gone. It was just before 9 a.m. on Christmas Day when one of Cochrane's oldest buildings burned to rubble. Multiple crews were called to the Anderson House, also known as Tibbs Tavern, located on 4th Avenue.
We had 20 volunteers respond to the fire, 3 apparatus. We were able to protect the exposures, which was the town hall and the neighboring DSAB that has 6 apartments there.
The fire is under investigation by the Ontario Fire Marshal in collaboration with the OPP, though at this time it's not believed to be suspicious.
All residents were accounted for and have since been relocated. Also, there was a report of 3 minor injuries as a result of this fire.
The 116-year-old building was once a popular bar before being converted into a rooming house. The town's mayor says for decades it was a landmark that saw generations of Cochrane residents pass through its doors.
This building provided a significant place for our community to develop memories, develop camaraderie inside the community, stories. There isn't a person in this town, I don't think, that doesn't have a story out of that tavern from old to young.
20 people ranging from young adults to seniors are now displaced. Upon hearing the news, the Cochrane Food Bank and the Innu Friendship Centre provided care packages fueled largely by a wave of community donations.
Toiletries, clothing, even one person so graciously donated their turkey from their Christmas dinner. They didn't even have their own, they just donated it to ensure that all these individuals had Christmas dinner.
This is the 3rd time the Anderson House has burned, a building known for rising from the ashes. Shador says with Cochrane's housing market already at capacity, the challenge now will be to find a place for these 20 displaced residents to call home. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Canadians are mourning the death of the final Dion quintuplet. Annette Dion died at Christmas Eve at the age of 91, several months after her sister Cecile. At a young age, the 5 sisters were plunged into the international spotlight. CTV's Eric Tashner looks back on their life and legacy.
Annette Dion was born with her 4 sisters in this home on May 28, 1934 in Corbeil. It was during the struggles of the Great Depression.
History is important to keep kids understanding how they got to this point.
The time was marked by wonder, controversy, and exploitation. They were the only quintuplets to survive more than a few days, and for this reason they were pushed into the spotlight.
We'll be able to showcase the whole history and legacy, tragic as it was.
In March 1935, the Ontario government declared the Dion Quints Special Wards of the Crown in what was said to be an effort to keep the babies at home and not put on display in Chicago. They were raised as a public tourist attraction anyway, and millions visited North Bay and Quintland, generating $500 million for the provincial treasury. The city grew with new motels and restaurants and better highway access.
When this happened, the city of North Bay, believe it or not, was about 2 weeks away from having to declare bankruptcy.
In 1998, the province apologized to the surviving Dion sisters and awarded compensation for being exploited as children. Their birth home has been turned into a museum where countless people visit. Annette was the last surviving sibling among the 14 Dion children. Her sister Cecile died earlier this summer.
Cecile and Annette to the end were linked together.
Annette visited her birth home in 2018, and that return drew thousands to North Bay. Callahan remembers his chat with her.
She mentioned that she remembers babysitting me. I didn't remember that. But
With her passing and the chapter now closed on a painful story, the Dion Quince Heritage Board is considering holding a public commemoration sometime next summer.
It may be end of the era, but it's not the end of history. So we're going to continue on.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
There is more to come here on CTV News at 6. For now, let's go to a live shot of downtown Timmins. This shot coming courtesy from City Hall and the city itself. The snow at this hour continuing to fall down on Algonquin Boulevard. Hopefully we're going to see an end to it soon, but only Rick has those answers. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
It's been a whirlwind year in provincial politics with a rare winter election, the ongoing trade war with the U.S., and opposition parties trying to find their footing under a third majority PC government. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris sat down with NDP leader Marit Stiles to look back at what Stiles calls, quote, a surprising year.
Look, I'm fed up.
The NDP leader's exasperation loud as the year wound down.
It is the endless grift of a anti-democratic and, yes, corrupt government.
An accusation out of bounds in parliamentary debate, enough to get Marit Stiles kicked out of the legislature.
All right, let's go.
She's been trying to make noise after a rough ride in a winter election called early.
Well, yeah, it was a tough one, no question.
New Democrats had less than 19% of all the votes cast, but with enough seats to form the official opposition. At the party's convention in September, a sobering moment for Stiles, receiving only 68% support in a review of her leadership.
We need to make change in this party.
Shaking up her team with the new chief of staff who's worked with NDP premiers in Alberta and Manitoba.
She's helped defeat conservative governments, and that's our intention here.
That hill is steep, with progressive conservatives enjoying a healthy lead in the polls. The NDP a distant third behind the leaderless Liberals. Stiles has been trying to chip away, focusing on potential preferential treatment by the Minister of Labour in handing out Skills Development Fund grants.
It's outrageous. I've never seen anything like it.
Needling at the Premier, who used to rail against the government gravy train.
And now he's conducting it. You know? Toot, toot, all aboard.
Stiles says that frustration is genuine.
I see government programs that are set up to do great things, like train people for jobs that we need and that they need, going to increasingly insiders, donors to the Conservative Party.
She's frustrated too by what she sees as a government without spark.
During the election, it was like, you know, Team Canada, all in, elbows up, let's go. Where is that? Where did it go?
With 1,000 workers at Algoma Steel soon to be laid off, an uncertain future for auto workers, Stiles says Ontario should be looking at taking a stake in key companies and industries.
Other provinces do it. We have done it in Ontario before. We have saved jobs. We have saved mills. We could be doing that right now.
To light a brighter path for 2026 and beyond. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
With the calendar flips to January, Ontario civil servants will be required to work in office full-time. The call back to office kicks in on January 6th and applies to all who work for provincial agencies, boards and commission public bodies. The provincial government says over half of the Ontario Public Service has already returned to the workplace full-time, but now the rest will too. The Ontario SPCA is celebrating a major milestone. The organization says it met its Home for the Holidays adoption campaign goal, helping more than 500 animals to find homes across the province. The campaign, which ran from December 1st to the 24th, focused on finding families for animals of all ages, including senior pets. The SPCA says 688 animals were placed in new homes, but is also encouraging those looking for a pet to consider adoption. Those once glorious Christmas trees are now losing their holiday zest. A Sault-based company is offering to help remove those fading trees. The annual Christmas tree drop-off at the Cambria Mall will soon get much fuller thanks to Just Junk. For the 7th year in a row, the junk removal company is offering free Christmas tree removal during the holiday season. On January 3rd, Jason Bigger will pick up upwards of 150 trees for the Clean North Depot. Residents just need to visit the Just Junk website to register, then take their tree to the curb on the day of the pickup.
I guess you don't really put into hassle, as you said, how much of a hassle it is for people to drag them outside, tie them to the car, throw them in the back of the truck and drop them off. So people they're very, very happy to hear when they sign up and I give them a call and just confirming their appointment, and very thankful. A lot of them will come outside and thank us and shake our hands. And it's honestly, it takes us 2 seconds to grab the tree, but it's great to know that we're helping people out.
Bigger says he'll make confirmation calls on New Year's Eve for those who've signed up. And although that's not the final day to be added to the list, it's a first come, first served service. Back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick Wyman.
Crazy conditions throughout northeastern Ontario today with rain, freezing rain, snow, blowing snow, and of course those nasty winds. Forecast radar. This is the system that's trying to leave the northeast right now. It should settle down somewhat overnight, but we will get some cold temperatures. Speaking of which, let's check out some of the current temperatures this hour. Of course, wind chill factored in. Moosonie with snow -20, -24 in Cochrane, -25 in Timmins, and Kapuskasing at -25. So some cold nights coming up. -27 in Chapleau this hour, -23 in Wawa. Some fog in Sault Ste. Marie at -20 as well. Meanwhile, in Parry Sound, -18 with the snow. As well, North Bay, -22, snowing there. Temiskaming Shores, -23, -22 in Kirkland Lake. Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt, -22 overcast. The same for Espanola, -22, -23 in Elliott Lake, and -21, some light snow in Gore Bay. Your 7-day forecast and pick of the day, Ian Campbell, is coming up just minutes away. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. And a quick programming note to let you know about. Make sure to join us tonight at 11:30 as we once again take a look back on the year that was, the good parts of it. That is, we're calling it the good news. And once again tonight, we'll be broadcasting it from Sturgeon Falls. Tonight will be nothing but the warm, fuzzy stories as you stay warm and celebrate the holidays. That's on CTV Northern Ontario or watch on Crave. Next on CTV News at 6. The latest on the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia as the war rages on. And the UN Secretary General is out with his New Year's message. He's calling for an end to chaos. Donald Trump was focused on another major priority at Mar-a-Lago today, the second phase of his peace plan for the Gaza Strip. The president held talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with several pressing issues on the agenda. CTV's John Venevali-Rao now on the bilateral meeting and the many challenges ahead.
Far from Donald Trump's meeting in Florida, in Gaza today, displaced Palestinians trying to survive a harsh winter offered mixed opinions about whether the meeting might amount to much. This man saying everyone's exhausted, cold, and urging the U.S. president to get his peace deal moving on to the next stage and eventually reconstruction.
Gaza's a tough place.
Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaking with reporters, saying Gaza was among 5 major subjects to be discussed. Trump said he hoped to move to phase 2 of the ceasefire plan quickly, but adding Hamas must disarm. He also suggested the U.S. would consider further military action against Iran if the country tries to rebuild its nuclear program.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal.
Meanwhile, in Ottawa, a group of activists held a press conference after they were stopped by Israel at this border crossing 2 weeks ago, trying to enter the occupied West Bank from Jordan. Along with 6 MPs, the group, sponsored by the nonprofit the Canadian Muslim Vote, planned to observe conditions there, but was denied entry for what the Israeli Defense Ministry said were security reasons.
This denial of access is not an isolated incident. It is a small sample of the systematic control and intimidation that Palestinians face every single day under occupation.
The group noting that Israel's security cabinet recently approved the recognition of 19 new settlements in the West Bank, which Canada considers illegal under international law, and calling for sanctions on items that come from them.
Any settlement product that's developed and sold should be barred from Canada.
As for whether that Canadian delegation will try to go back to the West Bank, today they said they'd like to, but aren't sure what will happen next. John Benavelli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
We're learning more about the developments in the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky denying reports that his country was behind attacks against Russia's Vladimir Putin. He claims that Russia reportedly says will lead to a change in negotiations. Reuters reporting that Russia's foreign minister has said targets for retaliatory strikes in Ukraine have already been selected. All this coming as Putin says his country must continue its offensive operation in Ukraine in order to gain full control of the Donbas region, as well as the city of Zaporizhzhia. Putin's comments coming ahead of an expected phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump. Russian General Vladimir Gerasimov says Moscow's forces are advancing along the entire front line in Ukraine. The general says Russian forces have captured more than 6,400 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory this year, including more than 330 settlements.
We know that we have fundamental issues still remaining on the territorial issue. The Russians, we should not underestimate them when they say they are not going to do any withdrawal from where they are now, and they expect the Ukrainians to withdraw from the rest of particularly Donetsk, therefore giving the Russians a full Donbass.
Nobody really knows whether Putin is serious about trying to find some sort of negotiated settlement or whether he's just stringing Trump along.
The meeting between Trump and Ukraine's Zelensky sought to mull over key issues remaining in the peace plan, such as the future of Ukrainian territory that Russia is demanding. Russia has demanded for Ukraine to cede control over the entirety of the Donbas region and other areas. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres releasing his message for the new year, calling for an end to chaos and uncertainty around the world.
In 2026, I call on leaders everywhere: get serious, choose people and planet over pain, and I urge everyone who hears this message, play your part. Our future depends on our collective courage to act.
Gutierrez highlighting the need to create a safer world and for countries to cut back on military spending, wars, and the violations of international law. He also added that leaders from countries around the world must secure peace rather than engage in continued wars. There's more news ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman.
About the best thing that I can say about the weather today and this evening is that it will get better tomorrow. Here's the proof. Forecast radar, the system gradually moving out northeastern Ontario, and with it some colder temperatures, some flurry activity overnight, little bit of snow, but not nearly as severe as what we experienced overnight last night. Okay, Greater Sudbury, wind chill minus 27, some snow overnight. Sault Ste. Marie, wind chill minus 22. In Timmins, some snow, 5 to 10 centimeters. Temiskaming Shores, about 5 centimeters of snow. North Bay, about 5 centimeters as well. See, there is an improvement. In Moosonee, 5 to 10 centimeters, a wind chill of minus 28. Caphurst, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow, wind chill minus 31. In Wawa, wind chill of minus 28 for this evening. Gorbet, chance of flurries, and Parry Sound, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. Now your 7-day forecast. Here we go. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, chance of flurries tomorrow, minus 13. Some cloud cover Wednesday, minus 15. New Year's Day, sunshine, minus 15 degrees. Friday, chance of snow, minus 13. Some cloud cover Saturday and Sunday. How about Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma this hour? Chance of flurries for the entire week. Minus 7 your high for tomorrow. Chance of flurries Wednesday, minus 11. New Year's Day, chance of flurries at 60%. Friday, chance of flurries. Saturday, chance of flurries. And chance of snow on Sunday at 40%. Your daytime high around minus 5 degrees. Normally, you should be sitting at minus 5 for this time of the year. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries for tomorrow. Chance of snow Wednesday at minus 18. New Year's Day, chance of flurries minus 19. Friday, sunshine minus 18. Cloud cover Saturday minus 17. And Sunday, some sun and cloud minus 14. Normally, you should be sitting at minus 10, so you've got a nice variation of temperatures there. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, Light snow tomorrow, -15. Chance of snow Wednesday. New Year's Day, chance of flurries, -18. And for Friday, chance of snow at 30%. Saturday, sun and cloud, should be a nice day at -16. Some cloud cover Sunday, -13 degrees, but the overnight temperatures rather cold. North Bay, West Nipissing, here we go. Light snow for tomorrow, -12 your daytime high. Sun and cloud Wednesday, -15. New Year's Day, sunshine, -15. Chance of snow on Friday, -12 the high. Saturday and Sunday, we've got cloud cover for both days, -12 and -11. But again, just like the rest of the Northeast, your nights are going to be colder. Have a look, -18, -20, -22, -23. So then it starts to warm up by about Sunday evening heading into Monday. So again, variation in temperature, some colder weather coming up, but at least we won't be looking at a lot of snow over the course of the next couple of days. Let's have a peek at our pick of the day. This is Sandra Skippin from Gore Bay, Manitoulin Island with the snow fawn. The poor fawn out in the snow. Of course, it's snowing out, it's cold, it's windy, freezing rain, ice pellets and what have you, but that fawn is one tough customer. We'll be back with more news coming up with Ian right after the break.
Team Canada will be back on the ice this evening, looking to build on their strong start to the World Juniors over the weekend.
Page, got a slap pass it back of runners. McKenna looks back across, they score!
Saturday's game, the second so far for the team, went to overtime with Canada scoring the game winner on a power play less than a minute into the extra period. The 2-1 win avenged a shootout loss to Latvia in last year's tournament. Puck drop for tonight's game against Denmark is set for 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Two Northern teams were on the ice yesterday in the OHL. In North Bay, the Battalion dropped a 3-1 contest to the Barrie Colts, who were outshot 46-16. And in Sault Ste. Marie, the Greyhounds, who were without the services of Brady Martin and Chase Reed, lost 5-1 to the Saginaw Spirit. Martin and Reed are at the World Junior Hockey Championship. All of this snow may put a bit of a damper on the Sudbury 5 home opener tonight. It still is a go at last check. CTV's Madison Marier caught up with the squad on the court. They were squeezing in a little practice before the season starts.
After a championship win, these 5 are hungry for another title, and they've been practicing to stay on top.
We're really excited, just basically trying to do the same thing as last year, and been working really hard and really excited for tonight.
I feel great. A lot of anxious energy, but in a positive way. Just being optimistic about the fact that we get to raise a banner, we get to have a trophy ring night. Just commend what we did last year with the fans, the beautiful people that supported us.
And while they hope for the same outcome as last year, the team has seen some changes.
Joey Puttish has been a great guy, great coach, great mentor, great leader. It's awesome. It's always new going into an environment, atmosphere where you're not familiar with, but I think that we've been doing a great job, the returners and himself and the new coaching staff, which is kind of finding a good dynamic between us.
Everybody here has been really great with the turnover and everything like that, especially the guys. They've had my back the whole time. I've had theirs. So yeah, it's been easier than expected, honestly.
Also new to the team are 6 new faces, but the 5 feel the teamwork is there.
The biggest part of this is getting everybody to gel together, and with such a strong core group of guys, that helps a lot.
I mean, we got guys that have played all over the world and guys that have played high levels, you know, so with that type of stuff, I mean, the talent level's through the roof, you know, so I really am excited to see what they can provide for the team.
I like to have this model of 1% every day, so every day we're putting in work together, gaining confidence, gaining that chemistry together. I think it's been great so far, but yeah, it's been challenging, but at the same time, it's a beautiful challenge that we look forward to.
Notice said the new players will bring in a strong wave of athleticism. That combined with the returning players will make for an entertaining season with lots of dunks. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
This year, the National Capital Region is hosting its 25th anniversary of one of the biggest hockey tournaments. The Bell Capital Cup invites minor leagues teams from all across the world to compete, bringing in teams from here in Canada, the United States, Asia, and Europe. CTV's Camille Wilson checked out the tournament.
It feels pretty nice.
10-year-old hockey player Kai Chung is excited to be in his first hockey tournament.
I get to play with some friends and some teammates.
It feels amazing. It's his first year, and honestly, he's impressing me a lot.
Didn't think he would be as far as he is, but he's doing really well. I'm very proud of him. Kai plays for the Smiths Falls Bears, one of the 284 teams playing in the Bell Capital Cup, a premier minor hockey tournament open to youth teams aged 9 to 13 from all over the world.
We provide the best minor hockey experience of any tournament. It's a very unique tournament from the standpoint of how big it is, how many kids from all over the world get together.
There are also many other off-ice experiences to take in at the Quench Hockey Fest, including Sunday's opening ceremony and the long-standing tradition of pin trading.
Our coaches give you 10 pins, and then when you play other teams, you can trade pins with them. So it's like a little souvenir. What I like the most about it is trading pins with all the other teams. I love trading pins with other people.
Games are played in various arenas across the Ottawa area, with the championship finals at the Canadian Tire Centre, the home of the Ottawa Senators.
Our first game that we won 3-1, I got MVP and I got a trophy.
It's really just grown every year for the last couple, decades and a half. We're looking at over 5,000 players, and then coaches and training staff and all that.
Everyone with the same goal.
I want my team win and win my first tournament, because I never win a tournament before.
I'm looking forward to winning this tournament.
And for Kai, this tournament is only a step closer to his dream.
I'm hoping for me and some of my teammates to make it to the NHL.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
The Blue Jays may have fallen short of a World Series title, but they are still taking home a major honor. The team has been named the Canadian Press Team of the Year after a historic postseason run. The Jays won a division title and reached the Fall Classic for the first time in 32 years before losing to the LA Dodgers in 7 games. The award is decided by a vote of editors, writers, and broadcasters from across Canada. We're inching closer to what could be a monumental FIFA World Cup next year, with games being hosted across North America. But one thing remains a sticking point for fans: the price of tickets. But the president of FIFA is defending that cost.
FIFA is the only organization in the world, and that's why I have to say that, and I want to say that finances football in the entire world. Without FIFA, there would be no football in 150 countries in the world. The World Cup.
Infantino says the high prices are a reflection of the demand by fans to watch the games, adding that 6 to 7 million tickets are on sale compared to the 150 million requests for tickets by fans from across the world. The FIFA president says the revenue generated from the games goes back to the sport around the world. All this as fan groups slam ticket prices, which have been more costly at times compared to the 2022 World Cup. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. A real story that stinks. It involves cow manure and soil. We'll explain after this.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
New data is out suggesting that coffee drinkers across Canada might be dishing out more money to make a fresh cup of joe. The numbers come from recent data from Stats Canada showing that Canadian shoppers paid almost 28% more for coffee at grocery stores in November compared to last year. It's a new reality for the nation's coffee industry as the price of unroasted coffee beans continues to rise. Experts say the blame could go to things like climate change, crop disease, and even drought. Well, ever heard of cow manure being useful for your soil? Well, a group of researchers in PEI think it might be. The group is looking into how the manure can strengthen soil while reducing emissions. It's part of a project called the Living Labs PEI, conducted in partnership with farmers. The group's lead researcher adds that using manure to fertilize fields is a practice that's been done for centuries, but has only recently fallen off. A Montreal area couple has spent years fighting for tougher laws around drinking and driving. At a recent police roadblock during the holidays, they were there raising awareness in an effort to save lives because their daughter Jessica was killed by a drunk driver. CTV's Angela McKenzie has their story.
At this police roadblock, Antoine Bittard is speaking to drivers after officers ensure they're not impaired.
The fact that we can talk to the driver and thank them about driving sober, they understand the importance, and as a victim, we feel good because we try to put a face on a victim.
Bitar knows all too well the importance of campaigns like these. His daughter Jessica was killed by a drunk driver in 2017. His life and his family's were devastated in an instant.
A big chunk of your life disappear, and a big chunk of your dream would disappear.
He and his wife Elizabeth Rivera will never forget that tragic night.
It was the wake up at 4:30 in the morning by the police coming to our house to tell us that she passed away. That you don't know what to do, right? You're like, we were lost. We weren't even talking to each other. We're like, what's happening is not true. This is not happening.
Bitar and Rivera's bond over the years has only grown stronger as they fight to make sure Jessica's death was not in vain.
Jessica was a beautiful person. She was very kind, very compassionate, always putting people first.
They've channeled their grief and loss into advocacy, fighting for administrative sanctions such as fines and suspended licenses for drivers caught behind the wheel with a blood alcohol level of 0.05. Currently, the limit is 0.08.
First of all, it's going to save more than 50% of lives mortality on the road. More than 60% of the Quebecers agrees about that.
All Canadian provinces except Quebec impose penalties at 0.05. But so far, the CAQ has refused to budge on the issue.
We get mad about this situation. We're mad about the government who cannot take a responsible decision and have the courage to do it.
Bitar also speaks to people with impaired driving convictions.
Usually I tell them, what you will tell me if you were the person who killed my daughter. And you can see right away their eyes go down. And we're telling them, you have the second chance.
It's moments like these that give Bitar the push to keep fighting, and it's work that's appreciated by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
He's a dedicated father, and he wants to make sure that what happened to Jessica doesn't happen to anybody else.
By sharing Jessica's story, the couple hopes people will think twice before getting behind the wheel this holiday season.
A collision, a fatal collision, it takes 1 minute. And you change your life, you change the life of so many people around.
A loss they say no family should ever endure. Angela McKenzie, CTV News.
As we head into the new year, there's one trend that's making a comeback for many Canadians, and that's travel around the world. One expert says it's not the same we've seen in the past.
It seems, and again, whether people are looking up under AI and where's the best place to go for this or that, they are talking about quiet escapes and slow travel, as opposed to running to the destinations like Rome and places like that where it's hectic and things like that. They're looking, again, this is from what we're seeing. We can only guess at this point, but we're seeing that people are deciding to try to go for the slower route, the one that is just not as popular as the others.
Regardless of the destination, global travel is on the rise, even as Canadians make fewer trips to the United States. Experts say one key tip when planning a trip is to book a refundable ticket early, helping travelers stay flexible and get ahead of rising costs. In consumer news, when it comes to infants and babies sleeping, new parents are often bombarded with information, especially on social media platforms. Advice shared by social media influencers, AI, chatbots, and even retailers can confuse parents and put babies at risk. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Shayna Raphael's journey to become a sleep safety advocate began with a tragedy.
Claire's death absolutely was preventable.
Her daughter Claire died at daycare, sleeping on a soft mattress meant for adults.
Had she been in a safe sleep environment, had she been in the crib that we thought she was sleeping in, she would be here today.
Shayna set up a nonprofit in her daughter's name, the Claire Bear Foundation. She posts safety tips and answers questions on Instagram and TikTok. But not everyone on social media has safety as their top priority. Recent studies found more than 9 out of 10 infant sleep images shared on Instagram were unsafe based on long-established scientific safe sleep guidelines. This includes babies sleeping on their stomachs or with pillows, blankets, or stuffed animals.
Sometimes we have people giving information that is in direct contrast to what those specialists and experts are saying.
And Consumer Reports says it's not just influencers sharing unsafe sleep information. Some online retailers are sending mixed messages as well.
You might see a listing online for a baby lounger that says in the description, "This is not safe for infant sleep." But next to that, you'll see a product photo with a sleeping baby in it. So which one of those is a sleep-deprived parent going to remember?
Another source of misinformation, AI chat programs sometimes recommend sleep solutions that have been linked to an increased risk of infant mortality.
Online tools like AI, search, and social media, they tend to give us the answers that we want to hear. And those might be different than what the evidence shows is actually safe.
Following safe sleep practices every night and for every nap can help keep your infant safe and prevent the risk of sleep-related deaths. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Some passengers living with a disability have been speaking out against WestJet and the weight restrictions it has placed on mobility aids. CTV's Alex Carpa spoke to travelers and found the impact they say the airline's rules are having on their lives.
Travel has always been a big part of Charisse Griffin's life. She's flown countless times with WestJet before and never had any issues. That is, up until this year. The airline's weight restriction policy for power wheelchairs has made flying much more difficult.
A lot of hassle. It's been frustrating and angry.
WestJet has a cap of 300 pounds for mobility aids on the vast majority of its aircraft. Griffin says this limit is a barrier for many power wheelchair users.
Majority of power wheelchairs like mine, are over 300 pounds.
Former MP Stephen Fletcher says he was told by an airline agent last February that they would not be able to carry his wheelchair on a flight from Winnipeg to Toronto due to its weight.
WestJet has invented a policy that discriminates.
Fletcher filed a regulatory complaint with the Canadian Transportation Agency. In a documented response, the airline said accessibility regulations allow it to refuse transport of heavier mobility aids. The document also states that power wheelchairs would, quote, jeopardize aircraft airworthiness.
That is a very serious thing to say, because if it's true, then we have an international crisis.
We reached out to WestJet to get a better explanation of their decision, but have not received a response. For Griffin, the message to the airline is simple: change the rule.
All I'm looking for is equal access so that I can fly on the same carrier that you can.
Griffin says flying is already difficult enough for her in the situation she is in, but says this rule makes it far more stressful and uncomfortable. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A burial spot for French film icon Brigitte Bardot, who died on Sunday at age 91, has been revealed. A spokesperson for the local authorities said that she will be buried in a cemetery by the sea in the French Riviera resort of Saint-Tropez. Bardot became a symbol of the 1950s and 60s France. She made her home in the resort, where she found solace among animals and dedicated her life to their welfare. Movie, music, and streaming news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
You're quite the teacher. You are perhaps the most intriguing person I've ever met.
There's more than a hint of Cinderella in the official trailer for Season 4 of Bridgerton, as Benedict Bridgerton searches for the mysterious lady in the silver gown who stole his heart. Bridgerton returns to Netflix January 29th. The Billboard 200 album chart is ending 2025 on a familiar note. Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl notched its 11th week at #1. Swift's only album to surpass that, last year's The Tortured Poets Department, which was #1 for 17 weeks. Jamie Lee Curtis got her start as a scream queen at age 19 in Halloween, but she could have begun much younger. Curtis said on The Drew Barrymore Show a producer wanted her to audition for The Exorcist when she was 12 years old. Her mother, actress Janet Leigh, said no. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
More turmoil within Lululemon to end the year as Lululemon founder Chip Wilson pushes for a board shakeup. BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has more.
It's the latest push by Lululemon founder and the company's biggest shareholder, Chip Wilson. Wilson has nominated 3 director candidates to the company's board and says he believes shareholders won't trust any CEO that's picked by the current board. This comes after Calvin McDonald, the outgoing CEO, announced he would be stepping down in the new year. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar dropped to $73.04. West Texas Intermediate is up to $57.82. Western Canadian Select is unchanged at $44.94. And the TSX lost 103 points today, closing just under 32,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities. We watch gold down $201.91, closing the day at $43.32 US an ounce. Silver down $7.14 to end the day at $72.14. Copper up 18 cents, $5.72, and nickel up 11 cents, ending the day at $7.06 US a pound. And now time for one last look at the weather. Let's see what's going on for tomorrow in Sudbury. We've got another cold one. It's going to be a little cooler than today, but a lot less snow. Minus 13 degrees with a 40% chance of flurries. Timmins minus 17 flurries. Sault Ste. Marie minus 7. That is going to be a bit warmer. We've got North Bay minus 12 with light snow, minus 10 in Parry Sound, light snow, and minus 15 into Timiskaming Shores. Light snow, but it is still going to be cool. Finally, for us tonight, it's almost the new year and many people are gearing up to get back into shape, including these pandas. Motivated by carrots, which are used to get the pandas to stand and stretch, the pandas at Quinling Giant Panda Research Center in Northwest China are busy doing their winter physical training. The pandas train for about 5 to 10 minutes twice a day in an effort to build up their strength. That's our newscast this Monday night. A quick reminder to tune in tonight for the good news at 11:30. We'll be broadcasting from Sturgeon Falls, leaving you with the warm and fuzzies as part of this holiday season. Until then, thanks for watching. Good night.